All right. So, as marketers, we often spend time trying to understand how consumers make decisions. In other words, why did they purchase the things that they purchase? And there are a lot of things to consider, but an important thing for us to consider, especially because it's one that we can affect or we can manipulate, are the external circumstances around the purchase decision or around the actual purchase. One thing that that is included here that we can't necessarily affect is the time and attention that someone has to dedicate to a purchase decision. Now that one's out of our hands, but that will certainly influence the purchases that people make. If you're in a rush or if you're distracted by many other things, your purchase may not be as optimal, or it might not be the exact same thing that you would have bought if you have more time or more attention to give to the decision. Another issue that comes into play with purchase decisions is the number of options. Now, this may seem obvious because if there's only one choice, that's the one you're going to buy. But if there are many choices, well, things get more complicated, right? These are things that we need to think about, though, in terms of trying to understand the decision that consumers make. Next is the urgency of need. If you need something very badly, you will buy whatever is available. If you're in the middle of nowhere and there's one gas station, you're probably not going to say, the price is too high. You'll probably buy the gas that you can get. If, on the other hand, you've got a full tank, you may just keep driving and buy gas later. All right, so another consideration are these outside environmental factors, and these are things to some extent that we can affect. Now, we can't affect the weather, though that does affect consumer mood. What we can affect is all the conditions at the place of purchase. So if we run a store, we're probably going to spend a lot of time in trying to make that environment welcoming and conducive to purchase. If you're in a store and it's uncomfortable, you're not going to want to stay there. In other words, you may be less likely to make a purchase in that store. So as marketers, we need to think hard about that when we design the purchase environment. All of these external circumstances affect consumer decision making, so these are things we need to consider and try to understand as marketers in order to be successful.